looking at supply chain cooperation between large incumbent and tech innovator, we've got a perfect example of that happening with this company called Freightos and their recent SPAC offering. Let's check that out and who the strategics are that have helped enable this company's journey. Freightos, or if you look at the name, it kind of looks like Freightos, but I think you pronounce it Freightos. They've announced that they're going public through a SPAC. In the disclosure of going public, we found some interesting news about who's going to be on their board of directors. And two names stuck out. One was the CEO of FedEx Logistics, this guy named Udo, and the chief cargo officer of Qatar Airways. What's so interesting about this is you're actually seeing a prime example of what I was just talking about needs to happen in other parts of the supply chain, like B2B distribution. This is a prime example of it, right? Of kind of saying, hey, here's a new disruptive digital business model. And who are the kind of more traditional players? And in this case, FedEx, I think, is the one who you could regard as the incumbent. FedEx's business model and Freightos' business model, you could say, do have some conflict, but they also do share a lot of synergy. And Qatar, I think this is more of a net upside, right? Qatar has a cargo business. They got a bunch of planes, Qatar Airways, and Freightos is going to help give them demand and give them volumes and basically, bring them customers that they could use for their cargo business. It wasn't just FedEx and Qatar. These were also financial investors. The cargo division of International Airlines Group, which owns British Airways and a bunch of other ones, and LATAM Airlines Group in South America. So they're not investors, but they are non-financial partners, right? So they've figured out a way to, just give them a bunch of volumes. Maybe they give them some preferential status. But now you're seeing that actually FedEx and Qatar helped enable this marketplace to be successful. Now, I'm not analyzing or criticizing, what the SPAC price is and, the financial, if it's priced properly or not. I'm just saying this is actually a great example of someone who you'd view who would be threatened by a freight cargo-oriented marketplace. They're doing a lot of international volumes here, right? They've got a whole section for Amazon FBA importers and exporters, right? So it makes sense if you think about, why these airlines are kind of strategic participants, and Qatar is actually on the board of this because, you got a lot of this international shipping that's going on. So they help to bring the volumes. They help to bring the supply. These were huge supply side enablers. And I think FedEx could also bring some demand too, if they wanted to, or, these supply side partners have demand that they've been booking as well. So they were also, if they wanted to, able to integrate Freightos's technology into the broader suite, right? If that makes sense. So there could be a lot of ways that they are even more deeply integrated with the company using their technology. You see, they've got a data product here in addition to just the marketplace. So a lot of ways that these strategics can enable this marketplace to be successful. Well, the strategic said, well, if I'm going to enable you to be successful, I want to have not only a financial upside for myself, right, an equity upside for myself, but I also want to have some governance. I want to be on your board. I want to make sure that if you get too big for your britches, you don't turn around and screw me. That's where the governance comes in. They actually have 2 board seats between FedEx and Qatar. So this is a great example, and I think a testament to, really FedEx really leaning in and looking at new digital disruptive models and getting comfortable with new ways of operating. This is a big shift how this company operates, right? You literally look at it. Freight comparison for over 10,000 companies. Compare rates now, right? They're trying to just drive down that price in a very kind of marketplace-esque fashion. But FedEx is enabling this, right? And supporting this disruption to happen. Very difficult thing to do for a large traditional player like a FedEx to get comfortable with this. So kudos to FedEx and then, Qatar and the other strategics in here as well. This is a great example of what needs to happen more broadly in the supply chain. And what does that do? It prevents players like Amazon and other tech monopolies from having their way with the supply chain disruption that's inevitable, right? This change is inevitable. And if you don't do it, if you don't embrace it as the incumbent, then someone else is going to do it. So you might as well do it and have some more control and have some financial upside. And then you can use that to reposition and evolve your core business in a way and be out in front of how the rest of the traditional players operate because you're at the forefront of kind of ushering in the new way that business is done through a digital means, right? That's how you want to be playing if you are particularly a large traditional player. If you like this video, go check out our video from a number of years ago where we talk about what McDonald's did with Uber Eats, which is the exact recipe for what not to do. We basically have coined a term called "Don't be McDonald's," where they basically enabled Uber Eats' business globally. And what did McDonald's get in return for that? Well, go check out the video to find out, but it's not really a good story for McDonald's and it's a great story for Uber Eats. So go check that out.